was a nice slow dissolve. I think that was in there from some other thing I did. All right. My audio seems really low though. Let's take a look at this. 1, 2, 3. Let's go in here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Still seems low. Let me know if it's low on your end. I'm looking at the meter here on the screen. Shouldn't be that low. Let's come over here and bring this up. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And we can leave the graphics. Well, thank you all for coming today. We've got a small group. Can't hear myself when I do that. Yes, agreed. It is low. Thank you, Mark. I was thinking that. So if you'll excuse me for a second, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap through my various sources because apparently it forgot my audio settings. Go here, audio, turn it off, because it's also going to have an echo if I don't do this, as we found out. But I don't know why it would have forgotten all my audio mixer settings for each of these inputs. I don't have global settings. I have these set up. Oh, that one I remembered. Okay. Interesting. So I can bring this up over here a little bit and over here a little bit. And still says it's coming in low. Interesting. And okay, that's just blinking my record. Okay. That would that should do a little better. There we go. Yeah. Blame the audio guy. I am the audio guy. I am the audio guy. So there's nobody to blame but me on this one. So thank you all for being here. Today's show is about wireless OBSBOT Studio. And the reason I'm talking about the OBSBOT Studio is because OBSBOT is one of the companies in a unique position where they make both a switcher and cameras. A lot of companies that make cameras don't make switchers. A lot of companies that make switchers don't make cameras. OBSBOT now has both. So we're going to do a completely wireless OBSBOT Studio. There's a couple different ways to do this, and I'm going to talk about some caveats, but that's what today's show is all about. If you have questions, ideas, concepts, throw them in the comments. I am live to LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and all of those platforms I get comments from. And so if you're viewing on any platform, looks like everybody who's commenting is on YouTube, which is, I think, one of the most reliable platforms, but your comments will come in from any platform that you're watching this on. So feel free to chime in. I've got a bevy of products here, but the key thing is I'm going to talk about the OBSBOT talent, and that's going to be the core thing for this. And the talent is an Android tablet at its core, as all these switchers are, except maybe the StreamTEK. I keep getting the name wrong. StreamTEK. I'll go with site. I'm going to say StreamTEK. But this one is cool, this little mixer. And if you haven't seen my video of this one, it's on my YouTube channel, so go check it out. This is an all-in-one live mixing tablet with 2 little batteries on the back, as is the OBSBOT, but it has an external Wi-Fi antenna, which can make a big difference in terms of connecting Wi-Fi sources. Because, yeah, they give you this little antenna, but you could put on a much higher gain antenna. You can put on a directional antenna and aim them at the direction of your cameras. So the fact that this is easily exchangeable is a very unique feature to the StreamTEK Mixer Live. I just wanted to show that as an example of certain capability that is available. And it's one of the caveats of the studio that I'm going to be talking about today, because this is the OBSBOT Talent. And what you don't see on the OBSBOT Talent is an external antenna. It doesn't exist. So the Talent right now, I have Ethernet coming in, I have power coming in, and I have the screen coming out. I hope you are going to allow me, for the sake of today's show, to keep the power, the video coming out, because without it, you have to keep just looking down at my screen. I mean, we can do this completely wireless, which is what the premise of today's show is. Ooh, let me start this on starting this on Instagram, and I'll hit record. Maybe it's can't. There we go. No, okay. Go to record, tab, smaller, start record. Well, that's a start. So silly. All right. So now I'm live on Instagram as well. So if you're watching on Instagram, you can comment there as well. So hello to, let me go back here and do my hellos. John Lynn says, woohoo! Mark says, agreed it is low. Thank you for helping that. And yes, we will indeed blame the audio guy. Enoch says, is giggling a little bit, and Rome knows tech is in the house. As always, I'd love to know where people are watching from. So if you're just joining the show, hey, chime in, let me know where you're watching from, because this is a worldwide show. And I love to welcome everyone to the show, and knowing where everybody's watching from really helps. And it's not limited to the topic that is the premise for the show. It's just something to talk about. Whatever streaming questions you have, you can throw into the comments. And then I asked a question: do you hate wires? Is that why you're here for the wireless show? Do you hate wires? John Lynn also asks, is the YOLO Box Extreme incoming? I actually don't know. I know Frank may have said at IBC that the Extreme is, which is their new forthcoming tablet with 8 inputs and an 11-inch screen. I would love to get my hands on that and see what it can do and everything. But that said, they're still fixing bugs in the Ultra, which has been out for almost a year. So I honestly don't want them to release something until it's more done. It doesn't make sense, because I see people saying, like, oh, when I switch, one of the latest ones was I've got the Ultra, and when I have video play, I have live camera feed, I get the live camera feed audio. If I do picture in picture, I get the live camera audio and this other thing. But when I do a side by side, the live camera feed audio doesn't come through. It's turned off. And I'm like, these are basic things. If it's in program, turn that audio on. So it just frustrates me that we're still dealing with those issues, 9 months, 10 months after it's been released. So it's just irksome. Mike Sabatini is in rainy LaSalle, Illinois. We had some rain here in Texas the other day, and looking forward to getting some more rain later this week. Enoch is watching from Kenya. Thank you for coming back. You were here last week, so good to see you back again. And I think there's a big dealer in the house watching from Buenos Aires, Argentina. Mark says, wireless NDI versus wireless transmitter receiver setup like Axon Hollyland. I feel like the transmitter receiver setup is more reliable versus OBSBOT Tail Air NDI or Mevo Start NDI. Thoughts? That is a big part of today's discussion. Thank you for that. Just to chime in, Mark is in Wyoming. But let's get back to this. This is a huge part of today's talk, in that, yes, I even have it set up. Hollyland transmitters, or even if you're on like a bare budget, you can buy like little, transmit and receive dongles, and these, and any company that makes wireless transmitters, I turn it around so I'm not advertising the company, but anything I hold up, I'm not being sponsored by. I actually own this. This is part of my arsenal. The show's not sponsored by anybody. Nobody's paying to have their product placed here. So this is all open discussion. Hollylands are good. The Xtunes are also good. There's several companies that make these, and these are good. The way these work is they use the Wi-Fi frequencies, 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, to transmit video, not as Wi-Fi, but as, you know, a swath of data. And if you're using these, you can't use Wi-Fi because these will use the Wi-Fi band up. They will decimate your ability to use Wi-Fi. So if you're connecting your talent via Wi-Fi to local Wi-Fi, these are going to hamper that, if not kill it. And one example I'll give was I had planned to do Wi-Fi on a tripod between a tablet and an iPhone with a hotspot in between the two devices. So basically the extent of my arm, this far. Once I got to the NAB show, and there's dozens of these all around, all pushing video on all the different channels, I could not get devices a meter apart, 3 feet, 4 feet apart. I could not get those devices to reliably connect to each other via Wi-Fi that I had on my stand. Just because this was so powerful and it was everywhere. They use the same frequencies, but they don't use the same protocol. Wi-Fi is a packetized system that asks for permission. If there's an error, it resends. This is basically like somebody blasting music on a bullhorn. They don't care what else is going on. I am taking up these channels and I am just sending my swath. And then you could change the channel on these devices so you can have one device on these channels, the second device on these channels, this third device on these channels, and the fourth device on those channels. And you've now occupied all the Wi-Fi channels in the spectrum, and any Wi-Fi that was going to go on is not going to go on around you because you've blanketed the area. You've taken over the Wi-Fi frequencies. And some of these work on 2.4. Earlier ones work on 2.4. Some of them work on 5. Now there's new ones that work on 2.4 and 5. They transmit on both bands at the same time to ensure that something makes it to the receiving antenna. Even it makes sure, it ensures that nothing else works on Wi-Fi except these devices. So, I find in a house of worship, when populated, the bullhorn setup works best. Yes. If you are the only, my concern is getting video from point A to point B. I don't care about anything else. These things will do it. These and better ones, bigger and more antennas and stuff like that, and more power. These are very lightweight power. Yes, the bullhorn method does work. The bullhorn method can cause problems with other bullhorns. And then you can go into a facility that is also doing bullhorn method, and then that's going to interfere with you. And that's one of the caveats to this wireless system. We can't see the wireless in an area, and there's, short of doing a Wi-Fi spectrum analysis, there's no way to know what's going on in the air on those openly unlicensed spectrum of 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. And none of these tablets that I'm talking about have 6 gigahertz built in, which has only just started to be used for wireless bullhorns. So if you have a bunch of phones that are using 6 gigahertz and you had a tablet that's using 6 gigahertz, you're actually on a different band. So these are all bullhorning down here, and you're up here at 6 gigahertz. So you gotta get it free. StreamTEK has announced a 6 gigahertz bullhorn, so that'll soon be gone too. But I am going to talk, I'm going to primarily talk about, these are extra equipment. And if you want to have 4 channels, you've got 4 of these transmitters, 4 of these receivers. And what I'm actually going to talk about today is, let me unplug it from the power. I just had these all charged up, is this and the OBSBOT talent. And that's it. Like, we're going to try to be as completely wire-free as possible. And this is how I'm going to try to do it. And just for the sake of giggles, I'm going to throw in one of these as well. This is the Mevo Start, which is also Wi-Fi. And so we're going to try to do that, and we're going to do it over Wi-Fi. But we're going to a couple interesting caveats to that is, where does the Wi-Fi come from? Normally, if you've seen my YouTube channel video, 7 tips for mobile multicam success, I say bring your own Wi-Fi hotspot, and I have one here. I have used this for years. This is the 2016 Google Wi-Fi access point. It's a mesh network, so you can provide internet in, and then you can daisy chain these throughout an arena. They will also wirelessly mesh, so you can put one here, one in the next room, one in the next room, one in the next room, and have this network where all your cameras are. As long as they can see one of these things, when you turn the camera on, then this will send it all the way back to the central thing. And I've done arenas with like 5 of these and 9 cameras. So, and these things rock. The 2016 model, I'm going to hold this up to the camera, actually has a USB-C for power. So you can power this off a 2.4 amp battery bank for hours. The newer version of this that you can get from Amazon now does not have a USB-C. They've changed the plug to a round plug. So if you can, these are available used very cheap as people upgrade to new systems. These are only 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, 2 bands, and there's not a separate backhaul channel that other systems use. Now, I always say, bring your own Wi-Fi network. But for today's talk, I'm literally not going to use a network. I'm going to try to do this as simple as possible. And let me go over here. And so what I've got is, I've got the talent, okay? And I'm going to unplug the power. We're not going to have power, no power. I've got batteries on the back, okay? And maybe they'll last the whole show. I've got bigger batteries. I've got honking batteries, and I've got little batteries. We'll see how long the little batteries last. I can swap them out if we need to. So right now I've got that. I've got Ethernet coming in. I'm going to take the Ethernet out, just for giggles. And just for the sake of setting up, I'm going to take this cable out. That's my monitor out. So right now there are no cables. This is it. That is the OBSBOT talent. Or yeah, OBSBOT talent. And here's my camera. Now, what I want to do, let me just clear this out of the way. I can get internet from a modem. So I could plug the modem in to, let's plug it in on this side. And of course I always stick it in wrong. And what we can't see is it's going to boot up. It's yellow right now. And as that boots up, eventually it'll go blue. I got green lights for my batteries. I've got an orange light. I don't know why that's going out of focus. There. It's red right now. Hopefully it'll go. I did set this one up. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into settings, network, cellular. So I'm connected to the cellular right there. And again, I can't show you the output of this screen because I am not hooked up to any cables. I will actually take this and let me dim this a little bit so it's not too bright for the camera. Go away. All right, did that go blue? Blue. All right, it's blinking blue. That means I have a cellular connection. Boom. There we go. And then what I want to do is I want to connect a camera. That phone figured itself out. Okay, good. I've got my OBSBOT talent and I've got a camera. Now, I don't have my hotspot. I don't have this providing the glue between the two devices. That's what I would normally do. Or you would use an HDMI cable between here and here, and you'd plug them together. You know, this has an HDMI out. This has an HDMI in. Yay. But let's just say we don't want to do that. Does the talent support USB tether for internet? Well, I mean, it supports internet over USB. So however you get it there. Does your phone support tethering over USB? If it does, then you plug it in via USB and you could do that. The key thing I'm going to do now is, let me go to the overhead so you can kind of see this, is I'm going to go into settings. I'm going to go into my network. There's my cellular connection. My wireless LAN is not connected. My Ethernet is, I mean, it's on, but it's not connected. There's nothing plugged in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to this last one called hotspot and tethering. It'd be nice if that was focused a little better. There we go. I'm going to turn that on. Wi-Fi hotspot. And what that does is that shares this internet connection through the Wi-Fi of this device to other devices, like my camera. This becomes my access point. And that's where this really starts to pay off. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to turn it on. And then as you can see, I already gave it the creative name. It's the OBSBOT, so I called it the OBS hotspot. OBS hotspot. That's my hotspot is called the OBS hotspot. And it's on there. I gave it a password. You know, you have to go through all these different settings. And then you can come down here and it says pick a band. I picked the 5 gigahertz band because I'm very close. 5 gigahertz can pass more data, but it stops at walls and things like that. It doesn't penetrate things as well as 2 gigahertz does. So we're going to step out of here, step out of here, step out of here. Apparently step out of here like a dozen times. All right, then we're going to come over to my camera device. I wonder if it's already on, if it found the network already, because I had it paired before the show. So we're going to go to NDI search, bird dog. We will just refresh this. Oh, it found the bird dog camera? Really? That's interesting. Let me see if that's actually live. I'm gonna guess it's not, but I tried to put the bird dog. Oh, it is. Look at that. That is live, and that is on Wi-Fi. The bird dog camera. This bird dog camera does not have a battery. They have come out with a camera with a battery. I don't have it. I have the X1, which has Wi-Fi, and so we're gonna save that. And then when I select that camera, I get PTZ, so I can pan that over, pan it down, and there we go. So, whoa, where are you going? No, this way. There you go. Zoom in. I'm waving my hand. Color balance is wrong and everything, but hey, that's okay. And the tally, you can't see it, but the tally has gone red on the camera because it's up. I'm going to store that as 1. I'm going to, where's my exit? There it is. And now I'll go back to my brushed metal. Now, what I wanted to do, it did not see my OBSBOT camera. Did not see this camera. So what I've got is, I've got a phone that has come down here. We're going to, it reverted back to my local, my office Wi-Fi. I'm waiting for it to find the OBS hotspot. We're going to connect to that. And again, we're using the talent as our Wi-Fi hotspot. All right. Now I am going to use the OBSBOT start. Yes. Tail Air 1. This is the one right here. You can see that. So, and it says it's on the hotspot camera. So if it's on the hotspot, then I should be able to see it over here. Ah, maybe NDI is not on this camera. So let's call up the settings. And I actually do have this. This is the output of the phone. RTSP, we'll turn that off. We'll turn on NDI mode. Done. That's why I didn't see it. So you can see I am able to access the camera using the app on my phone to change settings, to do the configuration. And now, when I go to NDI search, refresh, there's my tail air. This is the one that's very close to me. Yes. Save. And now I have my tail air and I don't know where I could put this. I'm going to put it right, no, I'm not going to put it there. I'll put it over here. All right. And now I can cut to that camera. Oh, it's already up. And then while I'm cut to it, I can pan down. Seems like it's zoomed in. There we go. Pan down. I can store that as P1. Zoom out anymore. I can store that as P2. And you can see over here on this, I can get into other OBSBOT settings like human tracking. Hey, let's turn human tracking on. So what if I move? So what if I move? What if I move some more? What if I move back this way? And you can see, let me turn tracking off so this doesn't go anywhere. I have this. I have this. I have my cellular connection. I have my batteries. This is the whole studio. This is literally, this is literally as wire-free as you can get. And I've got my cellular connection. I've got my batteries on here. I'm not using the Ethernet. I'm not using any wires. If you needed to travel light, you'd be hard pressed to travel any lighter than this. And you still have the 4K recording in the camera. You still have the ability to pan, tilt, and zoom your shots. We're not talking locked off shots. Pan, tilt, zoom, multiple presets. This is a very powerful little kit all together. That's today's talk. Thanks for coming. And that was like literally what I wanted to demonstrate today, is that you can put together a very, very bare bones setup specifically with the Wi-Fi capability in the OBSBOT Talent. Now, as I said, oh, wrong one. This is my cellular connection. This does not have a Wi-Fi antenna on it. Other solutions out there do have Wi-Fi antennas, so they're going to work better in terms of reaching external sources that are on Wi-Fi. This does not have an external antenna. This is actually a plastic case. So even if the antenna was internal, the plastic case is not going to hold back the signal. The Talent has a heavy metal case. It is very robust. If I drop it, it's going to damage my table. If I drop this one, I'm going to damage the unit. But that metal is also a shield to the antennas inside. And that's why if you look at the bottom here, it's got this plastic panel, you know, because the back of the display probably has a metal backing. The back of the unit is metal. And you needed a place to kind of find a way for that signal to exit this little tablet. And there's not a whole lot of spaces for that to happen. And I like to do it this way. That is one of the things that is going to be a hindrance to this type of solution, is that you're not going to be able to put the cameras too far away. And again, as I said at the beginning, it's going to be dependent upon what else is going on. If you added one of these, you know, you'd have to find the right channel so that they didn't conflict. You know, maybe set the OBSBOT Talent to 2 gigahertz and these are on 5. So you're separating them by bands. Then you can coexist. Use, you know, 1 or 2 of these and a close camera or 2 wireless via 2 gigahertz into the device. Now, it's not limited to just OBSBOT stuff. That's one of the key things. Because I'm using NDI, it's not a bespoke protocol. Like if you were using the Director Mini, you could use 3 phones using the Director Mini app as local cameras, and they can do the same thing. They can connect via Wi-Fi into the Director Mini, the Wi-Fi that the Director Mini is hosting as the hotspot. But you're still going to have the same restriction. You can't get too far from the device. The Talent does not have the remote camera feature, but you can still do NDI, as we already have the one OBSBOT camera with NDI, camera control, zoom control, presets, tracking, all of that. Very handy. What we can also do is, hey, if I want to have the OBSBOT track the person speaking at the front of the stage, but I also want to have a wide shot at the back of the stage, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to overhead. All right, I have my, you can't see the green light, but the green light is on. I have my little Mevo start. So it's got 2 batteries left. Now, when I did my scan, I didn't see it. And that's probably because it doesn't know this new Wi-Fi that I just created today. So, do I have the Mevo app on here? Probably not. We're going to go get the Mevo app. The goal we're going to do now is we're going to put the Mevo app on the Wi-Fi that I created. M-E-V-O. Search. There it is. Logitech Mevo. And it's got a picture of their core app, their core camera. And, oh, you know what? That's not, well, it's going to work, but it's going to take a long time. So just for this sake, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch the Wi-Fi on this to my studio Wi-Fi because that's a lot faster. Go away, go away. There it goes. You can open that. Okay. And what I'm going to do here is allow, I don't want the core. Yes, they have ads on here now. So it sees my camera, 22J. Yep. So I want to change the connection type. I want to do Wi-Fi. Edit Mevo hotspot. So the Mevos can do a hotspot as well. And maybe we'll do a show on that. Stream via Wi-Fi. Connected via Bluetooth. And what it should ask me is, which Wi-Fi network do I want to connect this to? So we're going to connect it to the hotspot. I'm going to put in the super secret password for my hotspot. Boop, 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 boop. Join. And then this app tells the Mevo Start to connect to this hotspot right here. Join. And then I think the app tells the phone to connect to it as well. That's how it worked with the OBSBOT. It automatically, they both went over there. It says, I'll meet you over on the Wi-Fi. Okay, great. I'll see you over there. And then, whoops, skip. Yes. All right, so there is, I'm able to see it here. Now, smooth that out of the way. Click on here. We're going to do NDI stream, NDI search, refresh. I think it was already there. And there is my Mevo. Hello. And there is my Mevo. Say save. And now I have 3 cameras, 3 NDI cameras. You'll see if I go to the Mevo, it's going to give me a PTZ control. But honestly, it doesn't pan unless you move it to the side. It's not going to pan. But it also doesn't zoom. Oh, it does zoom. Look at that. You do get zoom control. Slick. So you can have a closer shot, store that as 1. I didn't think it would zoom. Zoom out. It's very slow. Come on, come on, come on. Store that as 2. And then can I go to 1? Go to 2. Go to 1. Go to 2. That's pretty cool. So now I've got a, I can have a closer shot of the whole stage and a wider shot of the whole stage and the audience. Be able to punch in and punch out, punch in, punch out from this locked off camera in there. See, that's my view right here. This locked off camera in the back of the auditorium, and then have this one closer to the stage and turn the auto tracking on. So as the presenter walks around the room, blah, 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 this thing will track them back and forth. Now I've got a 2 camera shoot, no wires. I've got the OBSBOT talent right here, no wires. Battery 1 is down to 80%. And I've got my phone able to control the devices also on the same network. So I've got one, two, three, four devices connected to my little hotspot here. And that is a very handy feature, being able to take my cellular connection out to the internet and share it with these devices. Not that one, this one. So, Jesse, good to see you here, Jesse. Jesse says that is so cool. Yes. Does the Talent support USB tether for internet? I know I answered this one before. One of the other interesting things is it does more than support USB tether. If you can get a landline, if you can get a, let me take that away. If you can, there's 3 different ways you can connect the Talent. You've got data in via USB. Let me move this out of the way. You got data coming in via USB, but that could potentially not be there. Let's just say you're indoors in a building and the cellular connectivity is crap. But they did say, hey, we've got, you know, a back-end Wi-Fi just for us. We'll give that to you. It's not the public Wi-Fi that's all protected and everything. So what you can do is, let me close this. We're going to go into the settings. Let's go overhead so you can actually see what I'm doing. Again, I am completely wireless. There's not a single wire in here. I'm going to go into my network. I'm going to say my cellular is not connected. My wireless LAN is not connected. My Ethernet is obviously not connected, but I am going to go to my wireless LAN. I'm going to turn this on. And it's going to find my Frisco Studios Wi-Fi that's connected. And it's still able to reshare that over Wi-Fi. So it's taking in the Frisco Studios, because remember, if you go to a public location, a lot of the times a public Wi-Fi is going to be protected in that your one device can see the internet through this connection. You can't see anyone else. At least that's how it should be designed. And many times it is. Sometimes it's not, but you know, you go to a corporate location or something like that, they say, okay, here's a Wi-Fi that you can have access to. It's not our, you know, business Wi-Fi. It's a public accessible, and it's protected so that you can't connect all your devices to that public Wi-Fi, because each one only sees, it's got blinders on, it only sees the internet. It doesn't see anything else, nothing else. It can't. It's designed that way so that, you know, it's a public connection, but for security, you're not going to be able to see everybody else on the network and hack them or whatever. But what this can do is this is going to be that single connection to the internet, and then it's going to repeat it to your other devices. This becomes the hotspot, wireless in and wireless back out. And what we've got now is, boom, 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 boom. I've got my cameras. Let's go overhead. I've got my cameras. You can see I'm going to move this camera across. I'm going to point it down. You can see my camera there. And I'm going to go into stream. And it should just call up the window. Oh no, it just started streaming because I only had the one. So right now, it thinks it's pushing to YouTube. And that way, I'm pushing to YouTube from this device. I am able to access my cameras and see them over the Wi-Fi that's being shared from this device. And let me move this one around. Got cameras. I'm still able to switch cameras between my bird dog and my OBSBOT and my Mevo. My Mevo seems to now have dropped frame rate for whatever reason, but the other devices, my OBSBOT is spot on. And I'm wireless and I'm streaming, and that's the whole ball of wax right there. Now, if you can plug in an Ethernet, being on a wire is always the most reliable thing. You still don't have control over, you know, the quality of service unless you talk with the IT team. But it is a super handy feature to be able to walk in with this. And if they say, listen, we can get you on, Wi-Fi that has plenty of bandwidth and everything, even if it is private, getting this device, getting the talent on the Wi-Fi enables you to then reshare that to the other devices so they can all see each other. That I can see my camera app from here on my phone. And this feed is coming from the camera through the hotspot to my phone so that I can control it. I can do a zoom in. And then I come over here and there's my zoom in. I can, on the phone, I can do a zoom out and it will zoom out. I'm controlling the camera and seeing the feed over here. This is all happening through the OBS hotspot that I created on this device. And you can't get more wire free than that. So here's my 3-camera shoot. Let me turn that around. There's my 3-camera shoot with no wires. We did it via cellular. We did it via Wi-Fi access, and we can, of course, go via plug-in Ethernet. That, of course, is going to be the most reliable. But being able to do it with no wires at all. Here's this. Here's my phone. The only reason I have the cables coming out of the bottom of the phone is for my HDMI out, so I could show you the phone, which is right there. This is the view from the phone. And I can zoom in, I can zoom out, I can change, I've got NDI on, I come over here, I can go into the image control and change the exposure, dial it down, make it brighter or darker. So I'm able to paint the Mevo camera and adjust the shot and save presets and go between my on-air, my wide, go back to the wide, close. I'm able to do all that on my phone. And the reason that's there is because I wanted to be able to show you that screen. Here's my OBSBOT. I'm going to move those out of the way. Here's my Mevo. I don't know. Oh, I can put the Mevo here. There. Mevo. OBSBOT. Camera to control. And my talent. That's the whole kit. And once again, the idea is this is about as lightweight as you can do it, but it's also the most fragile way you can do it. Again, because the talent does not have any external Wi-Fi antennas like other solutions out there do have external Wi-Fi antennas. I mentioned which one that one was in the beginning of the show. There are solutions out there, but they're not going to be able to do what the talent can do in terms of NDI control of multiple cameras into the device, streaming, recording, and just the robustness of this platform. And I'm not saying that because OBSBOT is paying me. I'm saying that because I use this. I use the Director Mini. This show is being produced on the Director Mini, made by Magewell, who makes this hardware. The talent, however, has the ability to augment the software to work better with their cameras. So being able to turn on the auto tracking and things like that. And I've petitioned them in the feature request. I said, listen, the OBSBOT talent to be able to tell each of my remote cameras to record in 4K, like Blackmagic does. You can hit the record button and you can tell it, hey, I'm not telling the switcher to record, I'm telling the switcher to tell all 8 cameras to record at the same time, internally in 4K. That's a great feature. That is just a fantastic feature to have those clean ISO feeds recorded in each camera, time code matching and everything. Now, I'm not going to say the OBSBOT is going to have time code matching and all that, but it would be really nice to have 3 of these cameras distributed around, and then on the OBSBOT talent, hit a camera record button, and then each of the cameras records 4K internally to their own media, so that if there is glitches in the Wi-Fi, I can still go back to the internal recording and get that footage and fix it in an edit later if I needed to. But we're not talking about doing that right now. I'm talking about this is the whole kit for doing a multi-camera live production completely wireless using either internal cellular, repeated Wi-Fi, or of course, Ethernet input into the device. Boom. Can you please do a review of the Mackie DLZ Creator XS? I've reached out to Mackie. They haven't responded. I think Mackie makes some good stuff. I actually have, I think, 2 Mackie mixers, but not the digital mixers, not the new fancy things. The YOLOBox Mini will get some new updates. The YOLOBox Mini and the InStream are well overdue for updates. Since this past year has been a big focus on the Ultra, trying to just stamp out all those bugs, and on the Ultra, trying to just stamp out all those bugs and introduce new capabilities like the new audio mixer, which is a great feature. The new video follows audio. The new mix minus, those are all fantastic. I don't want to say they're updates to features that were there. The mixer was there. They just made the mixer better. You know, the stereo meters, more responsive and things like that. Audio follows video was there, but people asked for it to be reversed, so that when somebody talks and the microphone's into that camera, the video will follow whatever camera has the audio coming into it. That's cool. And then adding the mix minus so that you can do the remote guests and not listen to yourself coming into the audio mixer, but still have it be part of the program. That is a key feature of being able to do remote guests on the Ultra. It doesn't happen on the Pro. The Pro, they say, doesn't have the CPU horsepower, but then they added NDI capability to the Pro. So apparently there was still a little bit more headroom. The Mini hasn't seen an update in over a year. The InStream hasn't seen an update in over a year. I'm using an InStream right now. I would love for it to remember the show that I build. It doesn't. You turn it off, you turn it back on. It doesn't remember how the cameras were set up or anything. So those devices are long in need of taking the existing features and making them work more like you need them to work. I'm not even saying give me new features. I'm just saying fix the bugs. So yeah, the Mini and the InStream definitely need more updates. I think the OG YOLOBox has been end of life. You don't even see it on the website anymore. So that is done with its updates. It actually got one last year, but I think that one's done. Now the Pro has been getting some trickle down from the Ultra. The Pro got a nice update this year with features that have been going into the Ultra. But I think some of those same features can go into the Mini, which has same high-end processor as the Pro does, and the InStream actually I think has a slightly better processor. So some of those features need to go into the InStream, like mix minus. And I think there's definitely ripple down capability. Hopefully that happens soon. But I do know that YOLO just demoed the new Extreme with 8 inputs and 2 outputs, and hopefully that doesn't come out too soon, and then all the updates are going to be going to the Extreme, and the Ultra wasn't done yet, and the Pro was still waiting for things, and the Mini, you see how the newest baby takes all the attention, whereas the other kids just sort of have to fight for scraps. So I hope they either grow the engineering teams so that each of those devices can get the updates that they need in a more timely manner, or they slow down releasing new hardware, because we really need to make the existing hardware be as bulletproof as possible before we go on making new things, because then it doesn't make us want to go buy the new things if they're going to be orphaned like the ones that are already out there before they're fully done. That's my take on that. Big Dealer in House says, yeah. So that is pretty much the show for today. I thank you all for being here. It was a fairly simple technical type show. I'm going to plug this one in. It's about to die. It's a fairly simple technical show, but I think the key is there's been people asking about, like, how can I do this? How can I be wire free? I don't want to bring a whole lot of kit. I just, because you can bring the talent and a camera in a nice little case like this. Unfortunately, the talent doesn't come with a nice little case like this. I think all devices should come with nice little hard cases. In fact, Don't even ship a box anymore. Don't ship a box. Don't ship, the sleeve around the box and the packaging and the little bags. Just ship it in this. And then when I get it, I open it up, I use it. I'm not throwing all this packaging away, Just, we can stop with that. Just ship it in reusable packaging. And this, if you go, there's actually some stuff out there. Tech 4 has a cover so that, let me go this way. You can take this and you can put that right over top of the screen. And again, like I says, this thing is metal. So you don't really have to worry about the device so much. I probably would be fine leaving the batteries on here because the power button is so recessed. I don't fear it's going to be turned on accidentally. But now the screen, which is the one thing that you could worry about, the screen is fully protected. And then I've got my camera. There you go. That's the whole kit right here. This is it. I mean, technically the mini's still on. The OBSBOT is still on. Take this off, and there you go. Did I switch cameras? I think I did switch cameras. There you go. And that one is the Bird Dog camera way over there. And I did a show on the Bird Dog X1, so you can look at that as a possible opportunity. It's going to give you a 20x optical zoom, an amazing optical zoom, a lot of capability. Bird Dog has their own camera app, so you can go in, you can tweak things. They have a web interface, so you can really dial in color and gain and saturation, and what gammas you want and all of that stuff. You can go in and paint everything. So there's a lot of, you get a better camera, you get more capabilities. But in terms of being lightweight, battery powered, it's going to be really, really, really hard to beat the OBSBOT Tail Air at this moment. I would love to see, hey, OBSBOT, if you're listening, if you like the show, I would love to see an optical zoom version. And they have one that has an optical zoom. I'd love to see this setup with the optical zoom camera, 4K camera on top. So I could still do 4K, but I get a little bit of optical zoom in addition to zooming in on the sensor. That would be what I would like to see. So thank you all for being here. My name is Anthony Barokas. I am the Chief Gearhead here at StreamTEK. And if you are watching anywhere else, it's StreamTechnology with a K on YouTube. And it is Stream Technology on Facebook. You can always reach me at Stream for Us. Stream, the number 4.us is my website, and that's where you can reach me if you need consulting or design, engineering, or even running a show. So with that, I'm going to bid you all adieu, and I will look forward to seeing you all next week. Take care.